Hello, I got the job and I'm really excited. So in my last video I said that today I was going in to have a meeting after I had an interview yesterday. I was pretty sure I got the job, but I was officially offered it today and I am super excited. I'm very lucky. I've only been job searching for a month, but time seems to move slower when you're looking for a job. It's felt like I've been looking for 3 or 4 months, but I'm really excited. I start next week and yeah, it's a good feeling. It's that bringing that confidence back into me that I am capable of doing this. Hi, boo boo. Yeah, so it feels really good. I'm very excited. Hang on a second. Say hello. Come here. Say hi. I got my little boys with me as well. I think they're excited. So yeah, just a really good day. Something I forgot to mention in my last video when I was mentioning good things that happened to me over the weekend. I completed the 30-day sit-up challenge, which ended with me doing 180 sit-ups. I split them into 2 lots of 90. And I did it. As you can probably tell, I'm not a small person. I wouldn't call myself fat. I'm naturally curvy, but I have put on weight that's made me on that bigger side, and I am trying to lose it. A month ago, I wouldn't have been able to do 30, 40, 50, let alone 90 sit-ups. And I was able to do it the other day, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And I'm going to do it again this month and keep getting better to the point that I should be able to do those 180 just straight away. Just go ahead and get them done. So I've started that again and I'm really psyched to get back into that. Sorry, I just got to show my little boy here. Good boy. He's a cutie, aren't you? You're a cute boy, yeah. My little Oscar boy. But no, it's a good day. It's a really good day. So I've got all the paperwork ready to go. I'm very excited. I think this is going to be really good for me. Some of the things that affected my mental health at my past job, which was nothing to do with them, it was all to do with me. Being in the city is a little bit stressful if you're not used to it, especially if you're working in a very corporate building. It seems like everyone... It's like being a year 7 in high school again. It seems everyone's bigger and better than you, and it made me lack that confidence. Having to dress a professional way and bring in a new outfit every day was also stressful. This time we have a uniform. I'm one of those people that love uniforms. It means I don't have to think about what I'm wearing. I can just put on the uniform, go to work and get the job done. It's a lot closer to home. I've mentioned that before, whereas my other job was an hour and a half on the train away. The hour's good, and I've got my own car, so I can drive there, and I'm just super excited. Oscar, can you stop licking me, please? Pretty please? Say hello. Yeah, cutie, aren't you? And then we've got Mr. Licks a Lot over here. Boo-boo. Boo-boo. You want to say hello? Hello? No? Okay. I've taught him to say hello, or a woo, as we call it. Boo-boo's a woo. But he's a bit busy at the moment, so I might show that in a later one. One of the reasons I love working in customer service is I find it fun. I know it's not for everyone. Office jobs aren't for everyone. For me, it's definitely what I see myself doing for a long time. I do love repetitiveness, so I don't mind doing the same sort of tasks in different areas. Like, I don't mind writing emails and I guess at my last job going and doing the I can't speak that word, of going in and changing information, but then it kind of changed up. Yes, it was repetitive, but because I was doing it on other people's information, that's what changed it up a bit for me. Phone calls also give me that no 2 days are the same. You know, you're never going to get the same phone call twice. Something they said that I'm really excited about is I'm a big believer in building connections with people. You know, at both my previous jobs, no, Oscar, please don't lick my new tattoo, that will hurt. At both my previous jobs, I was asked for specifically because they knew if they talked to me, I'd get it done for them, and I'd keep on top of it. You know, if they've been chasing something up and they finally spoke to me, I'd say, you know, if you haven't heard from me by 3 o'clock, here's my number, call me again. I'll chase it up again and I'll keep chasing it up until we get it done. So I'm a big believer in that, bringing those relationships with the customers, and they said that their customers are like family, and that really hit really good for me. I also felt very comfortable. I've never done this with an employer before. I was completely open and honest about what's happening in regards to my mental health. So I said, you know, I'm with a disability employment service. I've had to take time off previously because of my mental health. It's never something I plan on happening, and I'm hoping now with these new things coming in, and these changes, like being closer to home, hopefully it'll mean that it doesn't happen again, because I know the travel was a big part in me not finding the will to get up and go to work, not wanting to sit on the train for that hour and a half was a big thing for me. But you know, the lady that I spoke to was very understanding, and I've never felt that comfortable disclosing that to an employer, especially before you sign the contract. I still believe there is a lot of stigma around mental health. So this was the first time I just felt completely open and comfortable. I wanted to be an open book with it, and I was, and it felt really good to do, and she was completely understanding. And Oscar, will you stop licking me? Stop it. Yeah. No, stop. Stop. Look at me. Look at me. Stop. What was that? What was that? Yeah, you're a cutie, aren't you? You're so cute. I love him so much. You're my boy, aren't you? So quick thing about Oscar and Boo, because me and my sister were 6 years old when we got them. It was technically one puppy was ours in particular. Oscar was my boy, and he still won't stop licking, and it's annoying me, and I wish he'd stop. I do. Not stop. Stop. I said stop. I said stop. Stop. Licky little dogs. So yeah, Oscar was my one, and Bibu over here. Can't find him. There he is. Bibu. Bibu. Ow. Can you say hello? Bibu. Ow. Bibu. Stop licking. Stop. Ow. Hello. Hello. What was that? Hello. 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 What was that? Hello. Ow. Ow. Good boy. There we go. So yeah, Bibu was Adrian's dog, and I've trained them up a bit. Bibu's very obedient, which is good. I've been able to train him to do that. It's not exactly on command. I have to use a certain, like, I have to do it and then he joins in sort of thing. But if I go hello a few times, he'll do it with me, and it's really cute, and I absolutely love it. Yeah, we got the boys. Stop licking. Oh my god. No, don't lick the phone either. Stop it. Stop. Come on, boy. You know what? I'm just gonna... Look. He's not stopping. Stop. No, don't. Stop. Stop. Stop it. Stop. No. Sorry, half this video is me telling my Oscar to stop licking. There. Go away. Shoot. Stay. Oh, now he's going to go after Boo. That's okay, as long as he's not licking me. Yeah, so we had them when we were 6. We had a dog before that, a beagle named Wags, as in Wags the dog from the Wiggles. My sister is very original with dogs' names. It's a funny story with Wags because Mum and Dad didn't think they could have another child. So they promised Adrian a puppy. And I was like, guess what? You're having a child. It's going to be me. So they made sure to keep the promise, and they got Wags the beagle, and she was a good puppy. One of my fondest memories or favorite memories is we used to have one of those slides in the backyard. You know how you have the little kids play equipment in the backyard? So we had a slide, and she hated us going down it. She would run up the slide as we were climbing up the ladder and would sit at the top so we couldn't go up there. But usually we'd get up there and slide down with her. She was absolutely adorable, but fortunately, she got very sick in 2006 when I was 6 years old, and it was a tumour, and the best thing for her was to put her down. So that was very sad. But me being a 6-year-old and not understanding how death worked, I had 2 famous lines. The first was when she was being put down, I said, "Oh, can we put her in the backyard? That way I can dig her up and play with her whenever I want." Yeah, because that's not creepy, you know, psycho killer in the making right there. And the second one was literally after we walked out of the vet's office was, "Can we get a new dog?" I feel so bad about that, but I just try to justify it because I was 6. I didn't know that was my first experience with death, was with Wags. I hadn't had any close family members that had died yet. But yeah, then we got these 2. My uncle brought them down for us, and I remember we were picking Adrian up from somewhere, and we got given photos of them when they were puppies, and I looked at Oscar, this little ginger thing with a piggy tail. His tail kind of curls around, and it used to curl a lot more when he was a little pup, and I just straight away went Oscar, and they agreed with me, and he was going to be my dog. And then a little while later, I think on the same day, Dad was the one that suggested Boo, the little white fluff ball. And yeah, those were the perfect names for them, and really the 2 of them take after Adrian and I a little bit. Oscar's the big bully alpha, thinks he's in charge. You know, Chihuahuas are tiny dogs, but if a Rottweiler came around, Oscar would think he could go toe-to-toe with her, but no, man. And then when Adrienne got her own beaglier, Nala, she's adorable. She's just over a year old now. So when they first got her, we were doing renovations in the house, and we had a couple holes in the backyard. And this is a little puppy, not even a couple months old, came over. And Oscar and Boo would wait until she was near one of the holes in the backyard, and Oscar would go charging and try to push her into the holes, the little shit. But he hates her so much. I think Boo's scared and is following. Boo follows Oscar's lead. If Oscar barks at something, Boo's gonna bark too. Boo's our little, I don't want to insult him, but a little idiot. He's a cutie, but he doesn't have all the tools in the shed. And we always joke that Boo's like, "Oh, what are we barking at? Doesn't matter, I'll join in, let's bark." And just follows Oscar's lead. Isn't that right, little man? Wanna come here? Hi. Hi. Say hello? No? No hello? No hello. Good boy. Mwah. Love you. Now, don't you start licking me too. We're gonna have your shoes. Stop it. Stop. Good. Sit. Good. Down. Stay. That was stay, not roll over. Stop. Sorry, majority of this video just me talking to my dogs. My brain's not all there at the moment because I'm just so pumped about the new job. But yeah, love my 2 boys. They've been my rock. Well, I've got a lot of rocks. But no, they're really good. Around the time that I started to kind of get severely depressed, that's 16. Boo! Stop it. Stop. Stop it. I'm going to chop off your tongue. Yes, okay. So around the time that I started getting severely depressed is when they started sleeping inside with me. And ever since then, they're still kind of outside dogs, but they get treated like royalty. We do spoil them quite a bit, but no, they're my two boys. They're 14 this year, and yeah, very, very good boys. Love them so much. If I you know the button, you press this but this happens. If the perfect button for me would be these two live forever, but I could never get another dog. I'd happily never ever get another dog if I could keep my two boys forever. But I do plan on being one of those people that has a lot of dogs. I don't see myself having children. I do see myself having dogs, and I know to some people that's weird, but I just don't see myself as a mother. I think I could be a good mother, but I've said in previous videos I'd much rather be an aunt than a mum. And that's just, I'm 20. That could change in the next 10, 15 years, but that's just how I feel at the moment, how I've felt for the past couple years, kind of maybe since I was around 15, 16. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how my opinion on that changes throughout the year. I guess it's gonna, not years. I guess it's also gonna depend on if I meet the right person, if he wants kids. But yeah, it's all, and I struggle with my decisions sometimes because I love watching those videos on Facebook, where the daughter tells the mum or the mother-in-law that she's pregnant, and the mum is just so surprised. And I could picture doing that with my mum, and I'd really love to do that, but because at this point in time I don't believe I'm going to have kids, I know that that's not something that can happen, and that's a little bit disappointing because I'd love to give her that surprise. But again, I think a lot of things can change between now and when I'm at the actual age ready to have kids. I was saying last night, I still feel like a kid, People my age are having babies and getting married. I'm like, nah, mate, nah. I'm not ready to be in my 20s. I'm not ready to be an adult, because by the time you're in your 20s, you're not old, but you're older than you want to be. I still feel like I should be back in primary school. I went and did some volunteer work down at the school my mum works at today, and they were doing some maths, and in my head I was like, man, imagine being able to go back with your adult brain to your kindergarten self, or your year one self. I think today they were doing numbers bigger and smaller, and it's like, what's a number bigger than 17? And just being able to go 21. Or what's a number less than 10? 6. And just being able to absolutely nail it. And I did some tests with them last year, as in I helped them. I would hand out the papers and read the questions off for them. And it was funny, they went from a music class, so they had to learn volume as in sound, to their math class where they had to use volume as in the mathematical, how much can you fit inside an object. And so when we were doing that test, and it was what is volume, and they were putting how loud something is, I was like, mm. And then they'd look at me, because I was helping kind of the kids that needed that little bit more time, and then they'd look at me and they'd be like, is that right? And I'd be like, yeah, I can't tell you, but that's your answer. And I felt really bad because technically they were right, they were just on the wrong subject, and I wish I could have clarified that for them. But you got to be fair to everyone, and I think a lot of kids in the grade got that one wrong, so it wasn't abnormal, I think, but to me it was a little sad funny, because after each answer they'd look at me like waiting for me to go, yeah, that's right, and I couldn't do that. All I could do was go, okay, let's write that down. And I think that's why I couldn't be a teacher as well. I do like some kids. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of kids, nothing against them. Usually it's just the way, it depends on the way the kids have been brought up, I guess, as well. What was that? It's the way they've been brought up as well. I meet some lovely kids, and that makes me go, I want to have kids. But then you meet the others that make my ovaries shrivel up and die, and go, no. But yeah, Boo, please stop licking. Oh God. No, Boo. Stop it. Yeah, go away. What are you doing? That's what I thought. Oh, yeah, sorry. My brain's all over the place today. Very strange video for this one today, but you know what? I don't care. I'm actually enjoying making these videos. As I said, I think it was in the last one or the one before, I find it very cathartic to talk about how my day's gone, talk about different things, and again, it's that if something were to happen, I was here, this is what was happening in my life, because I'm not a big poster on Facebook. I kind of keep things to myself on there. You know, I have very little friends. I don't just friend people I don't know. That's not something I do. I remember at one point when Facebook was really popular, it's like, how many friends do you have? But I was never that person, because I guess I've always been scared of not knowing who's looking at my profile, and that's just me though. It's not you, perfectly fine, but I'm just one of those people that doesn't have anyone on there that I don't know, and then even then, if it's someone I haven't talked to in a very long time, or I only added them because I partially knew them and haven't seen them since I've added them, then I usually remove them, and it's never anything personal. That's just how I run my social media. And then I've got my Reddit as well, which I love to use, making memes. And I kind of had to back off from that because, again, I was starting to get into my head about, wanting to get on the hot page and wanting to get lots of upvotes. And a couple of mine did. They were getting like 8K and up. And, I'd be going, yes, this is really good. Okay, make another. And then that one would barely get 30 upvotes. And I'd be going, well, what did I do wrong? And I made a couple memes about depression and anxiety, and it broke my heart when people were commenting with their own issues, because I just kind of wanted to, give them the internet pat on the back and say they'll be okay, but, you don't know the person, and you don't want to seem like you're coming off the wrong way by saying everything will be alright, because you don't know their life story. But, I still think about suicide, and especially there was a question that came up a week or two ago on one of my feeds that said, what would you have missed out if you had killed yourself a year ago? And, this past 12 months, so from February 2019 to February 2020, not much happened. The highlights of the past 12 months would be that I went and visited my family down in Melbourne and got to see my nanny. But no, last year was pretty shitty. So there's times where I still continue to think about it. I'm not going to act on it at this stage, but it's sometimes hypocritical, or you don't know what someone's gone through for you to go up on the internet and just say, it'll get better, because you don't know them, you don't know that, and I recognize that people suffer from a lot worse things than me. So for me, who just has depression and anxiety with no real cause, going up to someone that suffered abuse, and that's why they have depression and anxiety, and they're still in that abusive relationship and going, it gets better, that's not my place to say that, because I haven't experienced it. I'd love to give them that push that everything is going to be fine, because I do believe at one point in your life, and you're only going to know this point if you get through the bad stuff, one day you're going to look back at all the shit you've gone through, and you're going to be proud of yourself for getting through that. Something I try to chant to myself when I'm having bad days is that I've survived 100% of my worst days, the days that I didn't think I could get through, but I did. And that means I can keep going, because most times when I think that to myself, it's not my worst day. My worst day is come and gone. It's getting close, but I've survived the absolute worst day. I can survive this day. And I really think that's an important thing we need to kind of teach or encourage each other to believe. Yes, I think about suicide, but I also don't think it's the right thing to do. I think that one day you are going to look back and you're going to go, I'm grateful I stuck around, and it sucks because you're not going to know that moment until you've gotten through all the shit that you need to go through to get there. I'm one of those people, I try to believe everything happens for a reason, and it's hard in the moment where everything seems to be going shit around you for you to go, oh, it's a reason. But it's not until something positive comes around, and I get that, and that's why I don't want to push that sort of thinking on people, because I don't want them to feel that I'm being insensitive to their issues. But no, I'm definitely one of those people that believes just keep pushing. I know how hard it is. Even if you can't get through the next day or the next hour, just think about the next 60 seconds. If you're sitting there with a razor to your wrist, so you're about to jump, or you've got pills in front of you, just wait the next 60 seconds. You've waited the next 60 seconds. Can you do another 60? If you can't do 60 seconds, can you do another 30, another 10? Just don't look at this massive mountain you have to climb. Look at each step you have to take. Can you make it up one more step? And one day you're going to be at that top of the mountain, looking at all the steps you've taken, and it's going to look like a lot, but the fact that you did it is what is amazing. And that's just getting through the next 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden those seconds turn into a minute turns into an hour turns into a day, and so on and so forth. And then you're going to look back and go, I got through it. And that's kind of what I have to chant to myself, and that's what I wish I could tell people. If you're listening, that is what I truly believe, but I also recognize that I don't know your problems. But I don't think suicide's the right thing. I've been there, I think about it, but I don't think it is the right thing to do. And that's just me. And I know it's very hypocritical of someone who contemplates suicide a lot to say it's not the right thing to do. But that is how I feel, and I think that's one of the reasons I've tried to find the will to keep going. I've mentioned this before, something else I try to do when I'm in a very bad place, I imagine that I have killed myself. And mum and dad, and you can put in your own person who you feel would have these emotions. There's someone, your pet, your friend, a family member, there's someone, and you're dead, and they're looking at you, and you have to, you as a spirit, it sounds stupid, please don't judge me, but you as a spirit, as they're looking at your body, you have to explain to them why you left. And for me, doing that to mum and dad, I never have a good enough explanation as to why I would kill myself. You know, if I was already dead and I had to try and justify it to them, I couldn't. Not for me. Not to them especially. I couldn't justify it to them because mum was a lot older when she had me, and they thought they could never ever have a baby again. So I know that I was special, and mum went through a lot to have me. So she put her own life at risk to have me. So having to try and justify to her that she put her own life at risk, and 19, 20 years later I've decided to kill myself, I can't do that. And yeah, it's something that always gets me really upset when I think about it. But I guess when I start crying because I think about those things, it's that emotion, it's that pain of not being able, the idea of not being able to justify it is more painful than what I'm going through. And that's just for me. And yeah, all right, I'm gonna go because Oscar is still licking me and it's freaking annoying, but I am excited for my new job. I hope whoever watches this that you're doing okay. Reach out for help. I personally I wasn't a massive believer in psychologists, but the one I found has been absolutely friggin' amazing. And there is someone out there who cares about you. No matter how alone in the world you feel, there is somebody out there, and all you have to do, I know it can seem like the hardest thing in the world, is just ask for help. And I promise you, one day even if that day is a year from now, 5, 10, 15 years, one day in your life, you're going to look back at all the shit you went through and go, I made it and it was worth it. All right, have a good night, everyone.